Hello and welcome back to my second career mode in China. So here we have a look at the weather forecast. It looks like another wet race start, but luckily it's going to become dry. So we're going to do all our practice programs, and there we go. At the end of it, we've got 4 purples, 2 greens. That's a lot of resource points. 250 out of 275. That's pretty good in my opinion. Missing out on 25, but it's not a big deal. So here we go. Have a look at the laptop. Drawing in the rivalry with Nico Hulkenberg. Engine 27% worn, which is not too bad. The gearbox is 26% worn. I think we're going to have to change that out a little bit earlier. And on to the race. As you can see, wet, then moving to dry and a bit cloudy. 3-stop on the intermediates, but I don't think we're going to have to make a 3-stop here today. Oh, 2-stop, sorry. 5 lights, and away we go. Ocon in P15. Didn't qualify that well. Qualified down in 16th. Was in 15th, but just dropped down to 16th out of Q1 in like pretty much straight away. Go up the inside of a couple drivers there, up into P12 already, but Signs comes back through on us. Lose a bit of our end plate, but it's not a big deal. Down to 14th, 15th, back to 16th where we started. Behind Kvyat now, Magnussen. Alonso has a little bit of a look, but we get a bit more power than that Honda engine. Down the inside, double lockup, which is pretty bad, but they all move out of our way, so we're going to take the spot anyway. A little bit of oversteer on the exit, and now we have to catch Hulkenberg. So we cut onto lap 3, where we're coming back into this turn. Nice braking, get a bit close to Hulkenberg, bit of contact, but we don't get on the power as early as he does, and he will get away from us there. Yes, he will. We have a look around the outside, but nothing happens there. Cut onto lap 4, and the same corner once again, later on the brakes, past Hulkenberg, and even past Stroll as he gets away from us, as he gets out of our way. He did have an issue, the engineer told me, so then maybe that's why he let me through a little bit easier. So, a couple cars having a few issues. As I got through this lap, Grosjean even had a few issues himself, I believe. So yeah, a lot of cars having issues in the second race of the season. So the engineer has suggested a strategy change. It does look a bit wet, but we'll see what he's suggesting. He has suggested a 2-stop, lap 6, which is this lap, for the soft tyres. So we brake, double lock up once again. Really struggle in the wet on this game. Clouds are moving away. You can see some blue skies. We cut onto the end of lap 6 as we come to the pits. A double lock up once again. Go a bit wide. This pit entry was pretty awful. I just can't keep the car straight. And engage the pit limiter into the pits. It's not too bad a race so far. P11. Obviously we're in the pit, so we're getting passed by a few cars. Pull in front of Grosjean. Hold the clutch in, release the clutch, and away we go. 2.8 second pit stop, which is not too bad. Release the pit limiter, and a bit squirmy on the exit, but not too bad, as it is still a bit damp on track. As you can see, Perez behind us has put on the super soft tyres compared to us on the soft tyres. Getting a bit wayward there, as the track is still wet and on cold tyres. Jeff's telling us we only have 1 stop left, which is for the soft compound tyres. Caught up to Grosjean on the end of lap 7. We'll see what our Renault engine can do against his Ferrari engine. Into rich mix, slipstream and DRS. Don't even need the DRS as we've passed him already. I assume he is saving fuel or has worn engine components. As we down to the hairpin, Stoffel Van Dorn still on the intermediate tyres. As you can see, it is still raining. Verline interestingly doesn't come into the pit lane. He's on intermediate tyres, and we just get the traction so much easier than he does, and he really falls back behind. So Massa up ahead, but we just couldn't catch him. Kimi Räikkönen is out of this Grand Prix, so the OP man himself out of this Grand Prix as we lock up a little bit. Sergio Perez is on the super softs and he's pretty much right behind us now. Engine not looking too bad, but the ICE is quite worn. And Kimi Räikkönen is just parked up just there, assumed with a mechanical failure. And we're cut onto lap 12. Sebastian Vettel sets the fastest lap, and Sergio Perez with his Mercedes engine will try to overtake us on this back straight. We'll have DRS, move to the racing line. What can Perez do? Can he do anything? Move to the inside in the braking zone. Perez comes around our outside, but we just squeeze him out and don't give him any space on the outside of the track. Cut onto lap 16, you can see the sun's come out. It's really great. Perez pulls into the pit lane for a fresh set of tyres, and we have our pit window open, so we put the car into rich revs and we're going to see what we can do. The car did feel a lot better this race than it did in Australia. I don't know what it is. I think it's just the weather. New game, not used to it too well yet, and I've only started using the wheel in the past month. We are 5/10ths up on our sector 1 split, so that's pretty good. Shows the tyres still do have some pace, so I think we're gonna stay out this lap and come in the next lap. Which is what we do. Cut onto lap 18, double lockup once again, but this pit entry is a lot nicer. Put the limiter on and into the pits. Hulkenberg is behind us. Max Verstappen was ahead. We couldn't catch those guys there. Too quick for us. Put on another set of soft tyres. The 2.6 second stop is pretty good. So we have to watch out for where Sergio Perez is, because he's the one we're really fighting this race. And there he is. We have got the overcut to work really nicely there. Perez was, you know, half a second to a second behind us, and now he's something like 2 seconds behind us, I believe, which is quite a considerable gap on the overcut, considering he was on fresh soft tyres. So yeah, as you can see, Sergio Perez a 2.1 second gap behind. We cut onto all the way to lap 24 because I hit the grass and I go wide. It's a big issue. Still had the gap to Sergio, but he has closed the gap up way closer. Still grass on the tyres, no grip at all. You can see Sergio Perez in my left wing mirror there. He's just getting very, very close to me now. Lose the car, lose the rear end. Perez is way closer than he was before, and the gap was 2.6, but it's now 7/10ths of a second as we do a double lockup into that corner. Cut onto the end of lap 24. The engine's still not looking too bad, but the ICEs are 45%. Come through here. Perez is right on the back of us now. Wonder if he can do anything on this straight. His Mercedes power unit should be able to power past our Renault engine. But Perez doesn't really look... Oh, no, Perez is getting quite close. He will have the DRS. We're just in standard, saving fuel. Try and squeeze Perez out a little bit of contact. But Perez pretty much makes it, but we're late on the brakes, lock up on the right front, and we do the same thing again where we squeeze him out to the right to the outside of the track. Put the car in lean, and on lap 27 we make the same mistake again as we go run wide, lock up, but this time Perez is right there to take the place. So we're stuck right behind Perez, and we're going to have to try and get him in these last 2 laps. Cut onto the pretty much the end of lap 27 into Rich Mix to see if we can overtake Sergio. Jeff's telling us we don't have enough fuel to make it to the end of the race, but it's alright, Jeff. We're not running rich to the end of the race. But Sergio just has better traction out of that big, long right-hander. Even though we have DRS, we probably won't get too close to Sergio, as the slipstream isn't really that strong on F1 2017. Close up quite a bit on the brakes, lock up on the right front, down into first gear. Lose the rear end a little bit, but still close. Lap 28 into turn 1. looked around the outside, but there's not really much room there. So we try a little switchback, a little bit of contact, but we make it through on Sergio Perez. So we're back up into P6, which is a really great result for our Renault car. Our expectation is P12, and we're doing that quite well. So end of lap 28, we have come across the line in P6, a little bit of weaving on the straight, and that was a pretty solid race compared to Australia. Australia were just way too slow. I've dropped the difficulty down 3% to 80, and you know, it's a little bit easier, a little bit more fun, so it's good. So Sebastian Vettel wins the races. Kimi Raikkonen has DNF'd. Lewis Hamilton and Lance Stroll also DNF'd, and Lance Stroll's mechanical issue did cause a VSC, but nothing really happened in that VSC period. You can see we did have a faster best lap than Max Verstappen, but we just couldn't close up to him. Nico Hulkenberg getting a P8, which is pretty good. So Nico Hulkenberg moves into 10th, and we're in 6th. Renault itself is into 5th. We're ahead of Force India, so that's pretty good. But Toro Rosso and Sauber don't have any points. We've gained a fair few respawns for points, but I don't think we're going to do anything just yet. We do have a new part coming for Bahrain. I believe it's our rear wing. We are leading the rivalry, and thank you for watching this video.